things have been said. And I found out that not everybody has the opportunity to know exactly what the issues are, to even know what the problem is. A lot of people get married and they hope that in a year or two they'll get pregnant, but that never happens. And once that never happens, they start to do screening, but some of these tests are so expensive, they can't even afford it. I mean, you can do the basics, but when it comes to fertility screening, it's quite very expensive. So I decided that, you know what, if I'm going to start this foundation, I'm also going to help with those kind of tests. I mean, initially, like every girl, I thought as soon as I'm married, a year or two, I'll have my kids, you know. And a year passed, the second year, and I was still quite, you know, just having fun because I had, you know, like looked after myself while I was in school, and I felt like, okay, I was ready for the next stage of my life. And I started getting worried at the third year. And I thought to myself, okay, what's going on? And people have their own definition of how you should live your life, what you should do. And just even before I started to think and get worried, they had already started telling me, I mean, we all know Pastor Ituah was married before. So they had already started telling me, oh, he was married before and he didn't have kids. So be ready that the same thing is going to happen to you. And I thought to myself, you can't say that to me, you know? But that in itself started putting me under a bit of pressure. You know, something that I would never have thought about. I mean, I would have just said, okay, I mean, that was then, this is now. And I started going to hospitals, doing tests, and I discovered that I fell into that category of infertile woman. And people would walk up to you and say things like, you know, when you get married, your weight fluctuates a bit. You know, you put on weight because you're happy. You know, you're cooking.
Yes.
So, and then, oh, you put on weight, Ibidunni. I'm sure you're pregnant, you know, and you probably just finished crying at home because you just saw your period.
Yeah.
Or somebody calls and says, oh, I was talking to somebody yesterday and they said, oh, have you seen Ibidunni lately? You know, what's happening? We've done this wedding 2 years, you know, and I haven't heard about the twins.
Yeah.
An aunt of mine came to the house, and because I love dogs, I love puppies. Veronica, you know, you've seen them before. And at the time, my puppy had 15 puppies. Oh. So I was still just looking after them. And she comes into the house and she says, no wonder you're not concerned about having kids when you're busy breeding dogs. Those things are so hurtful. And sometimes your friends have kids, they have birthday parties, and you want to carry a baby, and somebody's saying to you, oh, you have to carry the head a certain way, and somebody says, oh, she probably will not know how to carry it because she's never had one.
But I mean, I have to say, I mean, that's sort of that's the life if you've been married in Nigeria and you haven't conceived within sort of the first. There's an allowed time, and if that doesn't happen, then everyone sort of then starts to invade your space, and you do feel. I mean, it is claustrophobic because you do. So I mean, I'm a very private person, so I became more and more private. But I mean, you've taken that, you've been able to turn it around. You've opened your heart to so many different options.
Yes.
The one thing I wanted to first of all talk about before I get to how is when you were going through the infertility treatment itself, what was that journey like?
Wow.
And what was that sort of, the people you met along that journey, what was that like?
I've done 11 IVFs in total. My goodness, from the first one I thought, okay, I discovered that I had blocked tubes. And this happened when I was 16. I had a surgery done. I had appendicitis, and I had a surgery done. It was taken up, but it wasn't done properly here in Nigeria. I then developed infections, and the infection blocked my tubes, both tubes. So I can't have, except God does it in His own time, I have to do IVF, you know, to bypass the tubes. I tried to open them up. I've done surgery to open them up. I've cut the parts that that are blocked, join them together. I've done all sorts of stuff before I eventually said, okay, you know what, let me just go do IVF. From the first one, my goodness, it is a roller coaster. Your emotions, first, the injections that they give you, they take you like that. You're moody. It just messes everything up, your whole system. But you have to take them for a set, like 30 days. And then you have to go for scans every day. So today you're happy because your eggs, you're responding to the injection. When it's time to harvest the eggs, when you get the news that out of 24 eggs, they could only get 2 good ones, your mood just, it's such a roller coaster. When they then fertilize the eggs with the sperm, some of them fertilize the first day, you're happy. You have to wait 24 hours for it to divide into 2. You're waiting. Sometimes the cycle stops at fertilization. You have to start all over again. Sometimes it divides into 2, then 4, then 8 before embryo transfer. Sometimes it stops at just 8. Sometimes it goes all the way. They do the transfer back. You have to wait 2 weeks to test whether you're pregnant. Sometimes it comes out negative. Before the 2 weeks, you start bleeding. All of the 11 IVFs, they come out with different results, but it's such a roller coaster. It's pain. It's very expensive, emotionally draining, psychologically. You stop living. I actually stopped living. I was just existing. Because you just keep chasing after. You always think that the next one is going to work. The next one is going to work. The next one is going to work. The last one I did worked. I had a set of twins, but I had a miscarriage at 3 months. That was very traumatic. It's one thing to not get pregnant and know how it feels. It's another thing to eventually get pregnant and you're saying, oh my goodness. And then you lose it. It was really bad.
Our hearts are with you with that. And this is the reason why you then decided to, out of this need and this love for your own situation, to start this foundation. So why don't you just share with us a little bit more about what the foundation does and how your journey has been able to help other women who are in need of services that they can't afford?
Right. You know, when you've been through something, you understand the shoes that other people are wearing.
Yes.
So I decided that, you know what? It's such a difficult journey. During my own journey, I met a lot of women, hospitals, who had complained bitterly about the cost of that treatment, who sometimes, I even just figured that they actually didn't just even need the IVF. Some people just needed IUI or even just tablets. But getting to the point where you know what the problem is, sometimes. I was praying on my birthday and I completely just, I usually do something, I take inventory of my life, the year before. I have a note, I myself and God, we talk, and what I wrote that I wanted that year. And I just heard him say, just let everything go and leave it all to me. And while you're doing that, there are other people that are waiting that you need to hold their hands. And that, I felt something rise inside of me. And I started the foundation and I said to myself, how am I going to afford this? Having to pay for people to go for this treatment. Not only financial, we pray together. Because, sometimes it's not even about money. Some of us are so nervous, we're so tense because of society that we feel that we're alone on this journey. Once you know that somebody is holding your hand, it's a lot easier. Which is
it's an isolating journey.
Yes, which is what helped. My husband was there with me. He kept telling me, I didn't marry you for children. If God is not going to do it, let it be left undone. That really kept me going, even though, as you know how we women are, we still want to carry our own. But that sense of somebody just being there with me really helps. I knew that holding other women's hands and walking this journey with them, praying with them, providing the little support I can, no matter how small.
Yeah. So it's both a spiritual,
financial,
and educational, because I noticed that when we did watch the clip, there were even men speaking, and then there was another lady speaking about adoption, and so you're educating the people along the journey of what can be, or the different options that are available to them.
Yes, that's what the foundation is about.
Ibidunni, your foundation is faith-based. How would you address those who believe, because of their religious beliefs, that they cannot look into assisted reproductive technology at all? How would you address those?
You know, what we don't understand is, ultimately, knowledge comes from God. And it is God that gives us people power to know what to do. And let me tell you, at every point, even doctors say to you, we can try, but God heals. At the point of transfer, as soon as transfer is done, my doctors always told me, this is where our power stops. The next step is all in God's hands. He's the one that would make that baby stay, form the twins in your womb, or if it's one child or triplets. He's the one. The Bible says he knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb. No child is a mistake. The first IVF baby was 40 years ago, and since then we have 7 million babies who have come into existence because of this technology. How many homes has God blessed through that? Are we now going to say it is not of God?
That's a really important point, because a lot of people do misrepresent what IVF is about, and they misunderstand it, and they see it as a lack of faith to take that step, but it's actually not. You're being proactive, and adoption as well.
And I have to say, I mean, I've seen that changing dramatically in Nigeria, and I'm sure a lot of the work you're doing is part of that. And just going to hospitals and seeing so many women now in waiting rooms, and also a lot of hospitals also offer you to help other women pay when you get your treatment. That was something that I was happy to see when I was going through a lot of my treatment. One of the things I have to say is, one of the things you said is diagnosis. A lot of times people don't even know what the problem is. When you look at the people that come to the foundation and that you help, what percentage of people would you say that you guys just really help them understand what the problem is? How is that split?
About 30%.
About 30%?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Some people, like the last conference we had, there was a lady who came, and I had a lady talk about enjoying sex while you wait. You know, some women, our cervix are funny. It's in a funny position. So when you have sex, if you don't do it a certain way or in a certain position, it would be difficult for the sperm to go in and, you know, like, for you to get pregnant. She tried one of the methods that Pastor Ruth described, and she got pregnant. Yeah.
So just simply understanding where your cervix is, understanding what positions work best for you getting pregnant.
Honestly, that's it. It's as simple as that. There's another lady who's got, my sister actually, my older sister, Toya, she waited for 5 years. She had polycystic disease of the ovaries. And everybody was saying, go and do IVF. All my sister needed were tablets. She has 3 boys now.
Wow.
So are you saying that, or rather, I would like to know, what are some of the questions if a woman or a couple feel that they haven't had a child and they're waiting for a child and they're not sure? What are some of the questions, or what is the first point of contact? Will it be your doctor? Would it be coming to a conference? Would it be your spiritual advisor? Who do you go to first, and what do you ask to begin to figure out what the issue is?
If you want to go through the foundation or just want to know what is going on.
Just that woman at home watching, just saying I'm at home watching, I've been married a year, I feel like I should be pregnant. What should people be looking out for and saying?
Once you're married for a year, you need to go for a test. Both of you need to go for what you call screening.
Okay, so that's the first step.
That's the first step.
Okay.
Screening. Hormonal profile.
Okay.
And that can be done by any GP?
Yes, you can go to any hospital to get that done. Once that is done, they will do scans to check your wombs, to know that you don't have fibroids. They would ask questions about your periods, how regular it is, your cycle, and then they will do the sperm count test.
Okay.
That is the very tricky one. Most men don't like responding to that. They don't like going to the hospital to check that out. But you cannot rule male infertility out. These days, it is so high.
Yeah, you were telling me you read an article.
Yes.
Yeah,
there was a Malaysian study this August. Nigeria has the highest incidence of male infertility. And things like toxins in the air, generator fumes, insecticides, even working on your laptop, on your lap as a man, is not advisable because it causes infertility. Phones in your pocket, all these factors.
Phones in your pocket, drinking, smoking. If you're working in a factory that is really hot, driving for more than 4 hours, and that happens a lot in Lagos, in traffic.
That's every day.
Your boxers are too tight. It's so sad because it's now that parents should start to look at their kids, even the younger boys, because this is where, at that age, that's where it starts. The quality of the sperm starts to drop.
Yeah.
Those are it's such a, and here, like you said, toxins in our environment is so
polluted.
So once you can get that out of the way, the sperm count is good. Some couples come out with unexplained infertility. Those ones are the ones that you know that, okay, you need to really calm down. You need to take your mind off these things. It might just be psychological. You're just really anxious.
Yeah.
Some of them you find out, like me, my tubes are blocked. Some of them you find out that the man has the problem. Once you can figure out what the problem is, you will be able to know what your options are. You know.
So let me ask you this: why do you feel that we are in 2018? There's technology everywhere, and people are more open to information. Why do you feel, or do you feel that in our culture or in our country we are still in that position of being nervous and fearful, or even being adamant to say I have had IVF or I am pursuing that? People are still like a hushed thing. I know people who've done IVF and they don't want to talk about it. Why is that, in your opinion?
Because they're not a lot of Ibidunnis out there telling people.
Because she's, it's not, you're one of very few that is very vocal to talk about your experiences.
No,
people
true.
don't, and this
People
is 2018. So why do you feel it is, or why not? What is your experience with this?
Shame. Actually, people are afraid of being laughed at, of being made fun of. Because people refer to your baby as test tube baby, glass baby.
Are people still doing that?
Oh, yeah.
So
that's a test tube baby. That's a glass baby. So people don't want you to know that they're doing that. They just want you to think that God just did it.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you keep doing that, how do you encourage other women?
Yeah.
All right, I have one last question for you before we go. One of the things that we saw one of the speakers talk about is adoption. What has been the progress that you feel Nigeria is making on the adoption front? What are the advice you have for people that are looking to do adoption? And who was the speaker that mentioned that during the video?
Dr. Bode. Nigeria is going, they're trying when it comes to adoption. They have processes you have to go through. You have to be able to pay your tax, be able to look after those children. But people are still, they are running away from the stigma of adopting children. People would rather steal children and pretend that they were pregnant and wear the make-believe pregnancy outfit and tell you that they carried their babies for 9 months.
Wasting time on
They do that, of course. But there's no shame in these things. Our parents used to do adoption many years ago. A lot of people grew up under my roof that my dad looked after, that they would send to their husband's house or their wife. Adoption, it was just never discussed. And it was never legalized. But, people don't, you have to learn to open your heart to other options. I am so happy. I have adopted. I have 2 kids, 2 beautiful children, a boy and a girl. I would not trade them for anything in the world. I'm so happy and I'm so grateful. So people should just open up their hearts to options. There's surrogacy, there's adoption, there's IVF. You can't box yourself into a corner. You can't do that.
Ibidunni, thank you so much. You started out as being the first face of Lux as a model, and you have now today become a model for so many women.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being a source of inspiration.
Thank you for having me.
And really, you're talking about things that we don't talk about. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The young woman who pastors a lot of people, but she still remains my baby sister, because I remember seeing her for the first time under the tree in Unilag, a picture of a young girl who wanted to be one of those competing in some beauty competition, and it's not the type that they wear bikini. That's the only kind of competition she could have done. Her name is Ibidunni Ajayi then. Today she's Ibidunni Ighodalo. It's nice to have you on set.
It's nice to be
Because I had to force you here as always.
I'm sorry.
But you can't hide, you know, because what I find interesting with what you're doing is you agree totally with what my first guest has said. And I found out when I came here that the same man is chairing the two foundations as women are working on. Unbelievable. How dumb can you get? But you run a foundation now for people waiting with babies. Tell me about that foundation, Ibidunni.
Ibidunni Ighodalo Foundation. It was born out of pain. You know, when you've waited, when you get married, you expect, like my auntie said, you expect to just have children and everything just works out fine for you. But when you start to wait, first year you're not pregnant, I honestly thought first 6 months I would be pregnant.
Yeah, because you're a good girl.
But I just thought, okay, it will come. So I waited a year, 2 years, and I started getting worried. Like, what's going on?
But your husband wasn't?
No, he wasn't. He still isn't. He keeps saying, you know what, God's going to do it. And whatever God is going to do, let it be left undone. You know, so I held on to that. But as a woman, you know, you would never want to sit down and not do anything. So I started, I got worried, I go to the hospital. And I've been on this journey for 11 years now. It's been tough, you know, especially because in our society, they don't spare you.
They, society. I mean, in-laws, friends, sometimes it's not intentional, it's not on purpose. But when you're waiting on God for a child, you're so sensitive that the little things that people do get to you. They might not even know that it's getting to you. And everybody's running around doing school runs. Your friends, you got married together, are going to, you guys are together, the kids are coming to yours. And you get back home at night and it's just you and you alone. your husband is not enough?
It gets to a point where you just really want children. You want company. I mean, your husband is your friend, he's your best friend, but you guys go to work together, you come back. After a while, you want to plan a family. You just want, you want people, you want kids around you.
What I like about what you're doing is you've chosen to go beyond that. How easy was it for you? Did love play any role in all of that when you decided, I must extend while I wait?
It was, like I said, it was out of pain. After going through IVF 11 times. 11 times is not a joke when you're doing IVF. And I just woke up one morning on my birthday. I usually have this thing I do, you know. I take my birthdays, I sit down, I pray. I have a conversation with God. Last year of my life, I achieved this. I would love this to happen the following year. You know, I write things down and we talk. And I said to him, I said, you know what? I am not doing this IVF again. How you're going to do it, I do not know, and I don't care, but I'm trusting you completely. And I heard something. In the meantime, just go ahead and help as many people as you can. And it was like, I thought I didn't hear properly. And I thought to myself, I should help other people while I wait. And honestly, it was as though I felt life. I felt like this is why I was born. And the meaning of my name is Ibidunni, sweet to give birth, sweet to have. For the first time, it was as though my life was playing in front of me. And I said, okay, I would obey this voice. And Auntie Adesuwa, I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't have a clue. It's never been done before.
So I just said to God, I'm trusting you on this journey, and I'm going to obey you completely and totally. You have to promise me something. Every single woman, every single couple that comes, walks through this foundation, mentions this foundation, hears this foundation, sees this foundation, you must give them a child.
How many children do you have now?
Who, me?
Yes, the foundation.
The children, we have 3. A set of twins and a baby girl. And honestly, it is priceless.
When the first one came, how did you feel?
My goodness. It's one thing to have a dream. It's another thing to actually carry. When I carried them, it was as though I was carrying my own. When the mother gave me a hug and she was crying, I felt her pain and I felt her joy. I cannot describe the feeling. It was priceless.
So what the foundation does is try to make money available for those who want to have IVF.
Money available, spiritual support. Just be there. But mostly it's to help people who can't afford. That treatment is very expensive.
Have you tried other means apart from IVF?
Yes, I have.
And you're trying different means. But why I find it interesting though, recently a couple celebrated their anniversary because that thing almost broke the internet. I don't know whether it broke your own. And they said, I'm going to give 20 families, 20 women the opportunity. Have you picked your 20? Was it easy?
My goodness, we had 2,722 applications from that opening. Wow. Yes. And honestly speaking, I've made up my mind. I've told God, I don't know how you're going to do it.
But these 2,800 must have babies.
Yes, you have to do it. And he's going to do it. I don't know how he's going to do it. I know the same way he brought this couple, they walked right into my life. And they
don't go to your church?
No, they don't. Just a phone call. I'm going to do this. I was speechless. And the gentleman said, hello, is somebody there? And initially I thought, okay, yes, sir, I'm here. And he says, please, like I said, we would like to be anonymous, but we trust your foundation. We trust that you have what it takes to... I'm still, even from even recounting the story, I can still see myself jumping from one end to my room. I was just thanking God. But I know that God who brought those people to me will bring other people that would help because it's very expensive. And the hospitals have been amazing.
So now you're waiting, you're still waiting?
Yes.
But you've forgotten the waiting?
Oh, totally. I'm not waiting anymore. I'm a mother of many. My foundation has twins. I have 3 kids from my foundation. I have a daughter, a beautiful daughter that, my goodness, God has blessed me with. I am a mother.
So you adopted a daughter?
Yes.
With pride?
My goodness, she's a gift.
And she looks exactly like you. I don't know how that happened.
She's beautiful. Oh.
So we'll talk more about that. We're on the panel conversation. I must take a break here because I'm going to extend it to loving beyond. You have beautiful kids. I'm sure even amongst your kids, you have some children who are not even, who have some disability or the other.
Yes.
But you love them anyway.
Oh, yes.
So I'll take a break and I'll return with my other guests. Don't go away. We're coming to the panel.
Thank you.
Ibidunni. I appreciate it. Truly, I do. That's one thing that brings me to what Ibidunni is trying to do with her foundation. Because nobody knows where life will end. You know what I mean? Here's Ibidunni. People still see you as a beauty queen. Now, everything worked right. You got married, no kids. Now you're helping other people who have children. You know, out of what did that come?
It came out of pain. And, you know, God uses your pain for his own gain. I don't think if I had gone through that pain, I would have had that heart to do what I'm doing. You have to experience this pain to know what other people are going through. It's not a place you pray for anyone to be, you know. So it's not easy for you to save the money you can use for your own treatments. Because you still have the chance to have a child.
So like when you started, you were thinking, instead of me spending this money on myself,
yes,
I'm going to start spending this on others before people started to help you.
Yes, I've been using my funds. My funds and my husband's funds. I've harassed my husband. But I had to do that. So the money that I could have used for my own treatment to save. You know how much IVF cost? I take it and I pay for other families. The first time we did 28 couples. Last year we did 16 before people started coming to sponsor 2 couples, 1 couple, 2 couples, only for us to get this phone call. Yes. So it takes grace for you to love other people more than yourself. I mean, some people still think I'm a bit out of my... I mean, I've gotten phone calls. I have an aunt who called me and said, you know, Yorubas, she means well. But she says it's like, why don't you face your issue? Why are you running after other people's and paying for their own when you can use it to pay for yourself? And I just smiled and said to her, you can't understand it. Nobody can.
So, but the beauty about it is if your partner understands what you're doing, then it's fine.
Oh, he's totally with me.
I think I get what you're trying to say, Ibidunni. The point is, without support, you can't get far, whatever it is. And support, do you work for the support, or it's a function of God just being kind to you?
Till God has been kind, but I still work for it because I still go out and I tell people, you have to support this foundation, please. I need you to help my couples. We're trying to raise money for this, for that. And people have been very kind.
That's interesting because you've done 28 couples as at
28 plus 16.
The first time was 28. The first time was 28. And you have only 3 babies. That means there are a lot of failures.
Yes.
How does that make you feel?
But I wouldn't call them failures because in the first set we had 5 pregnancies confirmed, and they all went. 2 of them went up to the 3rd trimester, and then they had a miscarriage. The other 2 were just the 1st trimester. So it was just 1 that was full term. Now, I wouldn't call them failed because after they were happy that you mean I actually got pregnant. That's in itself. So that's a step for some of them. For any mother, the fact that you even were able to even feel that feeling of pregnancy. So I mean, the next one would definitely be a yes, by the grace of God. Okay. And then some of them don't even go as far as it's a pregnancy test, and then they get pregnant naturally. We have a case like that right now from the first set. She went to the hospital. They found out that she had only PCOS, polycystic disease of the ovaries, and my doctor just gave her tablets. She's pregnant.
Simple as that.
At the conference, we had a woman talk about sex, and she was talking about sex positions, how to enjoy yourself while you wait. And a friend of mine, she came for the conference.
She got pregnant?
Oh, she said she tried one of the positions. She put a pillow under her bum, and now she's pregnant. Wow. The little things that we can do.
So it's beyond just, trying to get you to be pregnant through IVF.
Yes,
or just trying to get you to experience motherhood. And I'll take a break. I must take a break so I can come back, because even though you don't call them failures, to those of us looking outside, it's like it's a failure. Yes. But I hear there's a solution. I'll be right back with my guests.
Anyway.
So when you hear things like this, I hear people saying, okay, I don't want this kind of child, I want that kind of child. What goes through your own mind?
My goodness. No, it's just a case of when you hear somebody else's cross, you are crying about your cross. When you hear somebody else's cross, you go back to your cross. And you will just stick to your cross.
This cross of mine.
Let me just stick to it.
So I just... If I forget to, please, those children that they want to throw away, don't kill them. Please. Bring them to the orphanage. Please. We will take them. We would love them. We will take care of them.
So you have children with this, because you are linked now in some ways.
In many ways.
In many ways?
In many ways. We're together. We're one.
And as I wish you all well as you go along, I'd like just one final word from each person. If you don't take anything away, I say faith and perseverance. What do you say?
Love.
Love. What do you say?
Love.
What do you say?
The grace of God.
And what do you say?
Trust God completely.
Trust.
Yes, ma'am.
Keep going.
Mama Jira.
your mom, like,